All right. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's Bobby and Brian again. East Carolina Rides.
Third time's a charm, I guess.
That's right. Hey, look, appreciate it. And, I had a good time last time. And,
Yeah, me too.
You settling on in that chair there? You want to make this a regular thing?
Well,
or you,
I don't know, Bobby. You said
you're a busy dude.
You
so.
said let's roll this back, and I had so much fun last week. I just, shoot, all I can say is you're kind of making me comfortable in the chair.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Hey,
So
look,
I appreciate it again.
I have a blast doing it, and having somebody other than my voice just droning on. I tell you, it makes it more fun, but also gives the different perspectives. And eventually, if you stick around, man, this room's going to get a little crowded, but it's going to be a fun time.
Oh yeah,
getting some extra people in here. But I went with an outline this week. I don't know how close to the outline we're going to stick, but I know you drew up a couple things that kind of talk about what's going on this month. But
affordability aspects sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, we're dealing with that in the forefront for sure. People at the pump are expecting, $4 a gallon just about, and the majority of our lineup, admittedly, is SUVs, trucks, not necessarily what you would consider gas zippers, but people are still coming in and buying them. We've had a strong start this month so far.
Yeah, it's really been good. Seen an uptick in truck sales, SUV sales. A couple of things are past us now, right? Mm-hmm. So April is always that time where, in tax time and everything, you have a lot of people that want to wait until after they see how much taxes they have to pay. A lot of people wait till the last minute. Mm-hmm. They file their taxes. They want to see how much money they have to pay out to Uncle Sam. And then once that hit is over with, or sometimes it's good luck in your bank account. But,
right.
and that could work out in our favor too.
Yeah.
So, once that time's over with, I think things relax a bit. Mm-hmm. May's usually a time where you're gearing up for summer. Mm-hmm. Memorial Day's coming up, which usually kicks off summer, and
right.
It's Jeep season. People are a little bit more relaxed now. So
yeah. Well, we talked about that yesterday. That or was it Saturday? I can't remember now. But the days start to roll together. But Jeep season is, I think. In North Carolina, it can be just about any time of year, honestly. But really, people start thinking in their mind. I literally, at 5:30, a guy rolled in, said his wife was thinking about, getting into Jeep, getting into something fun. Mm-hmm. They're luxury car owners. Not somebody that's going to be probably a doer. We talk about the doers and the dreamers. Mm-hmm. In the Jeep world, but something they could take the top off and enjoy, and I was like, hey, look, come in, have her drive it, because that's kind of a different feel than an Audi,
Yeah, I would say so. You can't quite take the top off. Well, if they have an Audi convertible, you can, but you're not going to take that vehicle on the beach.
No.
You're not going to take that vehicle down a nice trail during the late spring, early summer.
Yeah, not to say people haven't
adventure.
tried.
Yeah.
And then the Jeep is the one hauling them out of that spot. But yeah, I'm being a Jeep guy, I can always pivot from this is a luxury car, and now you've got luxury features in a Wrangler. Like we now have power seats in a Wrangler.
Yeah,
it's wild to even say it out loud, but
Hey, the engineers made it happen. Those Jeep Wranglers they were made simple for a reason, and then they found out, hey, we have a bigger market than what we expected.
Yeah,
and a lot of people that like luxury vehicles and everything, that was the one thing. Oh, I don't have a power seat. Mm-hmm. Well, the engineers made it happen. Now we have several models that have power seats.
Yeah. It's nice when you see how Jeep does it especially well, is listens to the consumer. The demand was there. People wanted something more comfortable. They wanted something that their wife could get in or husband could get in, and put the seat right where they want. The manual seats, admittedly, you don't have but so much. You got a little wheel you turn for your lumbar, and that's about the.
And the thing I like about it is they really paid attention to what the consumer said on that. The doors are so hard to come off. A lot of people want the open air experience when they purchase a Jeep.
Right.
They want the complete open air experience. The doors were painstaking to take off.
Yeah.
So much so that folks just decided to go ahead and bypass it. The top, not so much. We can take the top off, set it in the garage, whatever, if it's a hard top, or if it's a soft top, just put it down, no big deal. But folks want that open air experience, so they made the doors a whole lot easier to take off. It's so simple now.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Quick
a big
release
plus.
pin, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
For 26, that was a new addition, and the product line, Jeep does keep us on our toes a little bit. Now you can't order a Jeep without power windows and power door locks. Which I know there's some purists out there that say, yeah, I'm never going to keep the doors on. That's the thing, is that it's a numbers game for Jeep. You got to also consider that when there's 1% or 2% of people that are going to always keep the doors off, always keep it in the garage, almost everybody that gets into a new car now expects to hit a button for the windows go down.
No doubt.
Jeep was the last sort of on that frontier with holding out on power windows and power door locks, but that was one of those things that, especially with the new model, locking and unlocking from the inside was really kind of a pain. You had to squeeze your arm through to unlock on a 4-door. If you had to.
I remember showing them Jeeps everything manual. Yeah. You had to contort your arm all the way around the pillar and unlock it, so that way, you could hop in the third seat. If it was a couple that wanted to test drive it, you had to hop in the third seat. So that door had to come unlocked somehow.
Yep. So, well, another thing we were talking about in the affordability side of things is. You've drawn up a couple leases, and there's finance deals going on. Of course, every month there's always rebates and discounts, but you've had some incredible deals come across the incentive line, and I've been impressed because with everything else being so expensive, it's usually not the case that you see cars like what we have drop down to the monthly payment that's available. So, do you want to share some of those now?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
might as well, because the deals are really, really killer. Not saying it because I get paid to say it. They're really killer. I mean, just listen to this. This is just one example. So we talk about doers, right? Dreamers and doers. On the Jeep lineup, a dreamer is basically somebody that wants a Jeep, to own a Jeep Wrangler. Or Gladiator. They're somebody that wants the feel. Maybe they haven't never had a Jeep before, but they've always loved to have one and everything. And yes, they may take it to the beach maybe a couple of times or something like that. Yeah. But then you have doers, and doers are ones that really love the trailing, that love going to the western part of the state, to the Rocky, to the Appalachians, and really putting it to the test on the trails. Yep. It's a difference in buyer. But for our doers out there, listen to this right here. This lease is just absolutely killer. So we talk about affordability, gas prices. Hey, how can I get this vehicle that I really, really want to get? Right. And how is it affordable? Because this is a $62,000 vehicle. The first thing you think about with a $62,000 vehicle is a $800-900 car payment.
Right.
And likely that's the case sometimes. But in this lease special that they have here, they just came out with a $62,000 2026 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon. This vehicle is decked out, nicely equipped, and this is a doer's vehicle. It can go anywhere, do anything you want it to do, rock climb, mudding, whatever you want to do. This lease, I want you to captivate this. Zero money down. Zero. No money down. $454 per month.
What?
Yeah. $454 per month. That's not a joke.
Wow. Well, that's on the Hydro Blue too. So
yeah,
I know that one's really nicely equipped. I mean, that's a Jeep right there.
Yeah, and I wanted to pick that one out because it's so nicely equipped and everything, and it you know, got a hang tag in it with that lease. I put it out there yesterday, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you it's a fantastic lease. And for the disclosure on the lease, it's a 48-month lease. That's a 4-year lease. It's 10,000 miles per year. $454 a month on a $62,000 vehicle.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah,
and the capability of the Rubicon, I mean, that's something that's unmatched out there. There's no other vehicle out there like the Gladiator. You know, it's a very unique vehicle. Being able to go off road, have the open air freedom, and tow about 7,000 pounds. You know, that's a whole lot of truck for under $500 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's a killer deal.
That's awesome.
This one as well. This is a lease special that I've had out for about a week, and a little bit more in a week. But this one is a 2026 Jeep Wrangler Sport S. Sport S gives you more equipment than a regular Sport.
Yeah.
Aluminum wheels. This one actually has, which I showed everybody, the one-touch sky roof.
Yeah.
I mean, and how convenient is that?
That's super nice for folks maybe new to the Jeep world, but maybe even those that have had Jeeps in the past and are kind of just tired of lugging around hardtop panels with them, or you know, fooling around with the soft top, and suddenly a rainstorm comes and you got to stop, get out, and put it back up. I mean, it only takes 5 minutes once you get used to doing it, but the one touch, you just hit the button.
Yeah,
and you're good to go.
You hit the button, you have open air. So this one, a little bit of a shorter lease. So this lease special, this is a $56,000 MSRP Jeep Wrangler Sport S. This is a 36-month lease, only 3 years. Okay, 10,000 miles a year, $439 per month on a $56,000 Sport S with a one-touch sky roof. So I mean, it's an absolute unbelievable deal that they have. Affordability for Jeeps is back in the marketplace today. I did do a truck. This one's fresh off the press. I'm going to introduce this one to the sales staff today as soon as we're done here. So I decided to pick out one that is hot in the marketplace right now. I picked out a Ram Crew Cab 4-wheel drive Bighorn. I didn't spare no expense. I didn't go to a cheapy model that I needed to do a price leader, as we do in the car business, to get you in. But I wanted to do a realistic one on a Bighorn, nicely equipped with a 5.7 liter Hemi.
Okay.
4-wheel drive Crew Cab. This is a 39-month lease. Okay. No money down. No money down. Oh, let us say $66,000 truck. No money down. $679 per month. Now, anybody's going to tell you a $66,000 truck's normally going to run you somewhere right around $850, somewhere right around there, $900 or something like that if you go a little shorter term. Right. $679 per month for only 39 months. That's no money down, sign and drive. If somebody says, "Oh, well, I'd like, how much would it take to get my payment down to under $600?"
Yeah.
Only $3,000. So that $3,000, you aren't rolling your startups in at that point.
Yeah.
You aren't rolling in your first month's payment. You aren't rolling in your tax and your tags and your admin fee and stuff like that.
Yeah. You're
You're paying all that up front, so it gives you a nice payment. With $3,000 down, it's $597 per month. So it's an awesome lease on a pickup truck. And I have cheaper leases for like express trucks and for like Warlocks and things of that nature. But I wanted to go with something that was a little bit more in the customer's alley, right?
Yeah, the Bighorn's probably our most popular package.
It is.
So the thing too, and this is just from my perspective, I'm thinking in this realm now. I don't know. I like to keep vehicles now. We'll say that for now. I've been in and out of like 4 Rams in 6 years, so that's probably not really true. But anyways, I think for those that do like to keep vehicles, or maybe they're in their mind, hey, look, I want to have at least potential to keep this vehicle. You can buy out your lease, right?
Yeah.
So right now, if you lease that truck, you build yourself up for a really good option of continuing to have powertrain coverage through the refinancing period. So you do your 3-year lease, and say you want to buy that truck out at the end. Well, you still got 7 years left of powertrain coverage.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you decide to, which a lot of times people just come in and they switch about, at the end of the lease.
Well, that's what the factory and quite frankly, me wants you to do.
Yeah.
I want,
Yeah.
I would
prefer that,
I
for
want
sure.
you to get 2 trucks in 6 years rather than 1 truck in 10 years, right?
Yeah.
But anyway.
And in 3 years, usually technology changes. The things that are available are out there that may not have been. You get to, of course, restart your bumper-to-bumper warranty too. So yeah, there are some advantages for sure, but that just kind of clicked in my mind while you were talking about it.
No. Being able to purchase your vehicle after the lease is kind of key in closed-end leases. It gives the customer all the power in a lease contract.
Right.
And I know that coming from a car guy, if there's anybody out there in the public watching and everything, that's strange to hear. But it really does. On closed-end leases, you have a guaranteed future value, which is called your residuals, the part of the lease that you don't pay on. And that residual's set in stone, and that residual's set for you. If you want to purchase the vehicle, you're guaranteed to be able to buy it for that.
Right.
And it also gives protection to the consumer, because if the market tanks or something like that, so your vehicle's value is going to tank, what's going to happen is you want to avoid purchasing that vehicle.
Right.
Likewise, like we saw a few years ago, when prices trickle up, it's maybe advantageous. You may have some equity in that vehicle.
Yeah.
Then you can either purchase it at a cheaper price than what the vehicle's worth, which is a good thing for you, or you can use the equity built in, because you can trade it. You can use the equity built in that you've gained to apply toward a next vehicle purchase or lease.
Yeah.
So it really gives you, the customer, a lot of options. A lot of people do not realize this, and glad to educate.
Yeah, and it's one of those things as consumers, we're always, because I'm a consumer, you're a consumer, we're always the ones that tend to have to take the risk. It's our truck, we have the title along with the bank, but you get into an accident, and like you said, it depreciates because of say like a moderate to major Carfax incident on there.
You don't know.
You'd lose the value on it, or maybe you don't feel that comfortable in the truck anymore. You have the option to turn it in, and the lease company is ultimately the one that's taking the most risk. If the truck gets totaled, there's gap. There's things that are there as protections now, at least compared to, because when I first started, leasing had everybody had a bad taste in their mouth. When I first started in the business, they were like, yeah, nah, I don't think I'm going to do leasing. I know at the end you're going to hit me with like a $3,000 balloon payment, and those things.
We don't have enough time in this podcast to talk about the way that leasing practices
it used to be, yeah.
We don't have enough time in the podcast because it was brutal on customers back then with open-end leases and balloon payments. It was a lot of underhandedness and everything. I'm so happy we're in today's era. Transparency is there, but the whole focus is affordability, folks. It's kind of like if you're seeing this truck and you like this truck, in order to get this payment, you may have to go down to a 3-year-old truck, and that means you're probably going to want to purchase an extended service contract. Right. Now, that's completely up to you. We have pre-owned trucks too. We can definitely do that, but it's just another option. It gives you an option to remain in factory warranty. Usually on the 36-month, you're in the warranty the entire time.
Right.
And it's just a fantastic deal for the consumer to consider.
It's like going out and buying a new wardrobe every 2 or 3 years. You got yourself a brand new vehicle with another low payment, and I mean, most people are going to have a payment anyhow in their vehicle. I always kind of relate this to people when I'm on the lot. I say, hey, look, you're either going to have a shop bill for having this old vehicle that's got 150,000 miles on it, or you're going to have a monthly payment. Which one do you really want? Sometimes it's that black and white. Obviously, it's not that black and white for some people, but especially when they're in service, we'll go back there and we've got somebody that's got a high shop bill. We see it. We see people that have engines that are seized up, or and you got to pay a $8,000 bill, and being in something newer under warranty has that advantage where you may have a payment, but you also don't have to come out of pocket right up big and up front when it comes to a big service note like what some folks have to deal with. And it stinks when it happens. You don't want to be the one to give the bad news. I know our service writers put up with a lot of stuff, but we rely heavily on them because they will bring them up front for us, so that we can give them some peace of mind and show them something new that's going to be reliable for themselves and their family.
Yeah, I had a situation just the other day. One of our sales consultants had somebody that was back in service. They needed somewhere right around $4,500 done, repair on a vehicle. So they came up front. They were referred to us by Bobby back in service.
Yeah.
They came up to us. Bobby referred them to us, and they were like, okay, well, here's my situation. Well, we were able to help them get into another vehicle. It pretty much came down to this. They had a ultra low payment. It was a cheaper car. It was out of warranty, but they still owed money on it. They had like a $300 and some odd payment, but the $4,500 was they were going to get a personal loan to pay the shop bill. Oh, yeah. So now hold on just a second. So now you're telling me you've got this payment for the car note, and you're fixing to take out a personal loan for the $4,500. Now you're going to have a payment on this. And the car is only worth so much, right? Yeah. And we were able to show them, hey, if you go ahead and trade it in now, you can have yourself one payment. Yes, your payment bumps up, but it's pretty much the same as what you're going to be paying for two notes.
Right.
So kind of made sense that way to the consumer. So we are here to help and for folks that do need. So
yeah, and it's kind of like a badge I wear proudly of being a consultant. A lot of times people look at us as we're trying to always, just sell. But if we have good advice, I mean, especially when you're talking to somebody that has been in the business, seen a lot of different scenarios, and may have a way of making things work to their benefit, and not only the benefit, but their advantage, where they've got things they didn't even expect that they were going to have in their life. Like, suddenly they've been wanting a sunroof for all their life. Well, for the same payment they're in right now, they can trade in theirs and get that plus a bunch of extra stuff and new warranty. Like, I mean, sometimes I am selling the sizzle on what I'm getting them into. That's part of my job.
Yeah.
But also, people's lives are elevated because of what we can show them and what's possible that they may not have even known about. And
I mean, folks get surprised out here all the day both ways, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, sometimes you lay an offer out on the table and folks will tell you, oh, that's fantastic. That's actually a little bit lower than I thought. And
I'm going to go back now.
But
wait a minute. No, I'm just saying we wouldn't do that.
and that's fine, all well. And then, of course, you're going to lay down an offer, and folks go, "What? What is that? Right. What kind of payment is that? What kind of number is that?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Through the roof. Yeah. We do. We have to have a little bit of bedside manner, I think. Sometimes we're laying down figures. It's the cost of things is higher, but there are ways to save, and leasing is one of those things. Not everybody's going to qualify, right? But it is an option that I think is becoming more popular because of
affordability.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what it's all about.
Yeah. And people are coming in and they'll tell us, hey, this $5 a gallon diesel. Well, it's also temporary, you know. So I don't foresee this sticking around for years and years.
And I think most people realize that.
Mm-hmm.
You have two and a half dollars per gallon fuel prices,
Mm-hmm.
and then this thing happens in the Middle East, and as soon as that strait over there gets shut down, it's kind of like folks realize, oh, oil's traded on a global market.
Right.
It's just not. It's just not here. So that,
Yeah.
but as soon as this thing's over with, everybody kind of knows this is going to be sort of a short-lived thing. As soon as it's over with, prices are going to come back down. So I think that's something that folks have in their mind, that it's not going to let them stop from enjoying their summer, the start of their summer coming up. So
Yep. Yeah, and we, of course, entering Jeep season. Jeeps are not necessarily known for their fuel economy, but we do have the 4-cylinder option. We also have the Jeep hybrid, which is like 40 miles per gallon in cities. So if you want to stay in the Jeep world and get car fuel economy, the Jeep Cherokee is phenomenal. And
great ride.
Yeah.
Great ride. I had a chance to drive that vehicle finally. It took me a long enough time, but I finally got a chance to drive that vehicle. Phenomenal ride on that vehicle. I'm very well impressed. So, I mean, you need to check out the new Cherokee. It's great size difference between the Compass now.
No doubt.
Yeah.
We've been lacking in that segment, and I'm glad to see Jeep kind of shifting that focus back into the Jeep world. We did a little slight hiatus into the Dodge Hornet, which was thankfully kind of come and gone. But
What's that?
What? Huh? What happened?
I don't know what that car is.
So they realized that really what everybody wants. I think we're going to start to see a shift in the market in general. I've been watching a couple other podcasts and I try to keep up with the news and finding out what's going on in the automotive world. There's a few people that have kind of dug into the news that Stellantis puts out there, because they post their news. It doesn't always hit the headlines, but if you watch automotive podcasts, you're going to find out. But they're essentially shifting to 4 brands, as opposed to the 16 that Stellantis as a whole has. And the European market and the Asian market, those are still going to get some focus, but that's going to be more like Fiat and Pugo. They're going to keep those around. Like France, for instance, I don't think would survive without Pugo. All their cop cars are Pugos.
Is it Pugo or Peugeot?
Peugeot, Pugo, Peugeot. I don't know. We don't sell them here in the United States, so it don't really matter all that much. But the Fiat, we got whittled down to the 500e, so it's not really on market for that either. But Europe sells a ton of Fiat vehicles.
Yes, they do.
But Jeep and Ram are going to be taking the focus, which is great because those are our top-selling vehicles. It's what people desire. The market share in Stellantis, according to these people's notes, and I take it with a grain of salt, but it's like 54% of what Stellantis sells as a whole is Jeep, and about 37% is the Ram brand.
And it kind of shows if you take a look at our website. If you take a look at our website right now, www.ecauto.com, you'll see 110 Jeeps. 110 Jeeps we have currently right now. And I think our Rams are right around 87, somewhere right around there. So got plenty of product, but you're exactly right. I would probably say about 85% of it are those 2 brands. And one of the best kept secrets on the road that nobody ever advertises, and I don't understand why this vehicle never gets advertised. They never see an advertisement for a Dodge Durango, ever.
It's an awesome vehicle.
But it is an awesome vehicle and everything, and it's the SUV that we have left, third row. It comes with a Hemi,
right?
And you never see the vehicle get advertised or anything like that. But I want to give it a shout out because they decreased the MSRP on them somewhere right around $6,000 or $7,000 over the past couple of years. They've decreased that MSRP on them. Like I think a Hemi GT Durango right now somewhere right around $51,000.
Yes.
That's a killer deal for a GT Hemi Durango, $51,000. I mean, put it in perspective. Like 2 years ago, when the prices were at their highest and everything, that vehicle was clicking off at about 63 grand.
Yeah,
That's MSRP.
Yeah.
So they've come down,
that was when things were somewhat cheaper.
they've come down on the GT Hemi because that's relatively a new model.
Yeah.
Because you could only get the Hemi and the RT,
Right.
which made that vehicle $62,000. So they said, well, why don't we just go ahead and put a Hemi in a GT model, and bam, you got yourself a $51,000 SUV, third row, kind of decked out with a V8.
That's right.
You know, so I mean, the Durango is one of them best kept secrets. Chrysler on the other end of the spectrum, Chrysler's pretty much sticking to minivans right now. You know, they just introduced a new body style of the 27. We just got our first one in, but for folks looking for price consciousness and affordability, you know, the selects right now, we're advertising with 10,000. Let's get 10,000. I wish $10,000 off for you folks, but 10%, 10% rebate plus $1,000 East Carolina spring discount cash.
I didn't know that.
Plus, most of these vehicles are over 90 days old for us, so their customers going to get a fantastic discount. Basically, I'm selling these vehicles, these Pacificas, for 10% plus $1,000 under net cost.
Wow.
If that makes any sense. So I'm selling them for net cost. You get a spring savings cash of $1,000. Then you get another 10% off from the factory.
The Pacifics don't usually have incredible rebates like this. Usually, the last few months it's been like maybe $2,500 or something like that. So
it's on the select model. The limited model still has your standard rebate.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, the select, I think, really would, for most people's purposes, is going to work great. It's got a good look to it. It comes with that leatherette that, I mean, kids and vans, they go hand in hand. That leatherette's super easy to clean up. That comes with heated seats, remote start, power doors, power hatch. I mean, all the things that used to be actual options, you know, now is more like standard equipment on the Pacifica. And so that select package is, I think, once people realize all the things you get, because they come standard with LEDs. Yeah. And I mean, there's so many safety features that are in there. These are family vehicles, and it comes standard with all the safety features people kind of come to expect. You know, the forward collision warning with stop assist, the blind spot monitoring, the lane keep assist, basically all the things to help protect you and your family, and then the convenience of a van, which until people actually experience it, it's crazy how many people have gone out and rented a van, and they'll come back and be like, we got to get a van. This is incredible.
It's a weird thing. Nobody wants a van until they've had one.
It
comes with the convenience.
Right. They realize life is so much better with these sliding doors and all the space and the stow and go, which is, you know, that's something that thankfully for the new design, they really kind of kept the interior the same, which I think was a good thing, as a good interior with that stow and go.
I saw you send a picture out of it, and I've seen pictures online, but it's just from the exterior that I've seen. I have not seen the interior, so it's mostly the same.
Very similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It was easy to use.
Quality of life improvements. You know, some of the stuff that the Grand Cherokee was doing is now in the new Pacifica. You know, if you want to set the height of your hatch, for instance, you know, for people with a garage, or, you know, you can have the hands-on driver assist and things like that that are that have moved into the Jeep world as standard features, which I was impressed with when I drove for the first time. That it's considered hands-on active drive assist. So if you get into a Laredo altitude or higher, it comes with that, and it's just like the hands-free, except for it's not tracking your eyes. There's not the little hump there that tracks your eyes, and but you have to have like one finger on the steering wheel. But it'll ease you into the curves, and it'll allow you to, you know, it'll change lanes basically. It'll slow down all the way to a stop. It makes driving much more effortless. If you haven't experienced it, I would say that's something with the new Grand Cherokees and now introducing it into a lot of our other product lines is something to be experienced. You don't have to go to like the Summit or the Longhorn to get that hands-free, because that is a premium feature to be able to let go of your hands and it take over when you're on a highway. But those are some of the things that are being introduced in the Chrysler. And I want to make it clear too, when those people were talking about in the podcast, they put a little side note that Chrysler, Dodge, the other brands are not going away. That basically all the money for R&D is essentially going to Ram and Jeep. So the focus from the factory, which has already been kind of advertised out there.
It's been happening in samples, but the new CEO, it's still semi-new now.
Yeah.
He's really put a focus on Ram and Jeep. You can really tell the focus has been shifted right there.
Yeah.
And those are two heavy hitters. There's no doubt. It's the two heavy hitters.
Right.
Number one selling, most awarded SUV in the marketplace, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, going as strong as ever, better ride, more quiet.
Right.
It's a phenomenal vehicle. We haven't talked about the Grand Cherokee too much. We're talking a lot about the vehicles and the specials and affordability and everything. So, I noticed we hadn't really been following the outline.
No, we did sort of, but we went off the rails a little bit there. We got into leasing, and you're right. We started talking about leasing, and like, holy cow, we could be sitting here for an hour talking about this mess. We're actually getting pretty close to George's meeting. I was just looking at my watch. I was like, oh my god, we gotta get going.
But yeah, it's kind of the time's kind of crept up on us here. So.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, there's always so much to talk about in the car business. There's growing news stories that I can always insert in, and suddenly we're talking for another 45 minutes about something because we get off on tangents, and we ran a little long, but daggone, that was fun though. We got
fun and quick, fun and quick. Thank you for having me back, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it once again.
Absolutely.
We'll have a terrific Tuesday here, and appreciate y'all watching East Carolina Rides. Make sure to like and subscribe if you do like what you're seeing here. Stay in the loop and leave a comment. The interaction really is appreciated, and appreciate y'all watching this week. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Have a good one.
Take care.